Attracting 27 million visitors every year, London is the most visited city in Europe. It's no surprise that London is at the top of so many people's travel plans. The city was founded by the Romans and has thrived over the centuries. Today, London is one of the most diverse cities in the world, with a rich history and some of the most outstanding culture on the planet. London covers a much wider metropolitan area and is home to almost 9 million people. There is always something to see and do in London. With some of the world's best art, entertainment, shopping, dining, and history, it's impossible to be bored in London. Let's explore the best things to do in London. Number 1 in our list is Hyde Park. Hyde Park is possibly the most famous park in London, and it is one of the largest. The park has historical significance, having hosted a number of demonstrations and protests, including protests by the suffragettes. The park's famous Speaker's Corner is still occupied by debates, protests, and performance artists every week. The park is home to several memorial features, as well as 2 bodies of water, the most famous being the Serpentine. Here you can go paddle boating, see a number of swans, and take in a breath of fresh air in the center of the city. A must-visit. Number 2 in our list is Westminster. Westminster is considered the political hub of London and is home to the Houses of Parliament and the world-famous Big Ben. Big Ben is the name of the bell housed within the iconic clock tower, and it still chimes every hour. You can also find Westminster Abbey here, which is open to the public most days. Whilst visiting these landmarks, be sure to rest your feet in Parliament Square, which features statues of important political individuals including Nelson Mandela and Winston Churchill. London Eye. A trip to London isn't complete without a visit to the iconic London Eye. Originally constructed to celebrate the millennium, the Eye is a giant Ferris wheel, offering gorgeous views across the city. At night, the wheel is lit up in seasonal colours and is the centrepiece of London's annual New Year's fireworks display. You can share one of the spacious pods with other keen visitors, or splurge on a private pod for you and someone special. Team your visit to the Eye with a trip to the adjacent London Aquarium to see aquatic creatures from around the world, including jellyfish, seahorses and crocodiles. Number 4 in our list is Soho. Soho has long been known as the base of London's sex industry. The area is now the most popular nightlife spot, although there are still some sex shops dotted here and there, giving Soho a delightfully risque vibe. In addition to bars and clubs, Soho has a number of theatres, jazz bars and restaurants to explore, making it a cultural hotspot. Its close proximity to Leicester Square means it's also a great place to go for a few drinks after a play or stage show. During the day, Soho loses none of its charm. Here you'll find lots of music shops, small cafes and quaint bakeries. Stop for a coffee and pastry on Old Compton Street. Number 5 is Hamster Heath. Hamster Heath is one of the largest parks in London, covering a massive 790 acres. It sits atop of one of the highest points in London, offering excellent views of the city from Parliament Hill. The Heath features grassy fields, wooded areas, and a number of large ponds. It is the best place to experience nature in London, with plenty of wildlife around and small woods in which to get lost. There are swimming meadows for those feeling brave enough to swim outdoors in the great British weather. For history buffs, visit Kenwood House, a historical stately home. The BFI, or British Film Institute, is a must-see for film lovers. The BFI is situated on the ever-popular South Bank and is the perfect spot to relax after a stroll along the waterfront, taking in the culture and atmosphere of this vibrant part of the city. The BFI show films every day, from mainstream blockbusters to re-showings of cult classics to one-off screenings of indie hits. There is also a library and shop for those who like to take their cinema seriously. The BFI also houses its own bar and riverfront restaurant for a delicious meal. Number 7, Brixton Academy. For those on a hunt for live music, London has thousands of unique venues to offer. Venues span every niche, or you can just go to an open night at a local pub and see some up-and-coming musicians. One of the best venues in town, though, is Brixton Academy in South London. The Academy was originally a theatre and cinema called the Astoria, opened in 1929. 50 years later, the venue became the Academy and now hosts some of the biggest rock and pop acts in the world. Some acts that have played at Brixton Academy include The Clash, Sex Pistols, New Order and Madonna. the Smiths played their final ever performance at Brixton Academy. This is the go-to music venue if you want to catch some live music in London. Number 8. Covent Garden. Though called a garden, Covent Garden isn't all about plants and flowers. Rather, it's a piazza and a collection of urban streets boasting numerous upscale stores, as well as bars, restaurants, art installations and more. In other words, it's a bustling neighbourhood within London's West End. Shops range from famous trademarks like Ralph Lauren and Zara to independent brands. In addition to conventional shops and boutiques, Covent Garden has a covered market area where vendors sell everything from antiques to crafts. Similarly, dining options range from foodie destinations like Sushi Samba and Balthazar to casual pubs. Given Covent Garden's open-air orientation, there are appropriately more than 1,000 seats for alfresco dining. Number 9. We have the Houses of Parliament. Step through halls where history was made time and again by visiting the British Parliament. Guided and self-guided tours, which come highly recommended by recent travellers, take visitors through multiple areas of the building, including Westminster Hall, the oldest building on the parliamentary estate, which is more than 900 years old, the House of Commons Chamber, and the House of Lords. If you're not interested in perusing the corridors that make up the UK's governing body, many travellers say that simply admiring the iconic structure's impressive exterior is enough, and an absolute must-do for anyone visiting London. And finally, we have the Museum of London. The Museum of London is dedicated to the city's rich and lengthy history, which it brings to life through permanent exhibits on subjects like Great Fire of 1666, temporary special exhibits and collections of thousands of objects spanning thousands of years. History enthusiasts rave about this museum, often remarking that it provides great insights into the city's past. Allow plenty of time to take it all in. Many visitors note that the staff are friendly and helpful. Hours of operation are from 10 in the morning to 5 in the evening, Wednesday through Sunday. There's no fee to enter, but visitors are encouraged to book tickets online in advance in order to ensure entry. And there you have it, my top 10 things to do in London. London is a vibrant metropolis both during the day and throughout the night. There is always something happening even after dark, from one-off events to club nights. As the sun sets, London's lights switch on, providing the city with a magical illumination. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button.